Welcome to the STARS program, seniors taking active roles in society. And now, here's your host, ANITA FINLEY.
Well, I have an old friend. She's not old, but she is an old friend of mine who I have known for many years, and I am really very excited about all the things that she's doing now. She has always wanted to be in theater, but she took a detour when she inherited her mother's business, which was, of course, Weight Watchers here in South Florida. And she stuck with it for, I don't know, how many years were you with it?
36.
36 years, and you did a great job. You were able to eventually sell it, and then you wanted to go off and do something you really loved. And I know you've always enjoyed theater. You've tried some movies, and now you're really doing something that, of course, is close to my heart, theater. And you now have started a company. This is actually Marcie Gorman, and Marcie Gorman is... she's a beautiful woman with a beautiful heart, and she now has a title of her company. Well, let me first tell you the company. The company's name is MNM Theater Company, and she is the producing artistic director and the CEO. So it's a big responsibility, but she can do it. She's got lots of fire in her belly, as they say. And the first show that's coming up is Avenue Q, and you can tell everybody what you're doing, where it's going to be, and let's get some promotion here.
Okay. Well, Avenue Q, for any of you that haven't seen Avenue Q, is really a takeoff on Sesame Street. However, it is the grown-up version of Sesame Street. So right off the bat, you can think kind of those kind of puppets like Sesame Street. However, it's adult Sesame Street. And it's set on Avenue Q like it would be in New York City. And there's different avenues with different letters. This is just Avenue Q, and there's a bunch of single apartments. And in the apartments, there are a couple of people. And then there's a couple of monsters who, as we know from Sesame Street, they're just people too. So we have a Kate monster, and we have a Princeton, and we have all kinds of neighbors on this area. And we visit our neighbors. One of our favorite is called Trekkie Monster. Trekkie Monster has a little bit of an addiction issue with the internet and porn. Now, Trekkie Monster has a whole song that he sings devoted to the internet and porn. So right off the bat, it kind of gives you a sketch of where you're going. It's hilarious. The whole entire show is hilarious. So you kind of take that mindset of Sesame Street, make it grown up, and just imagine what the puppets can do on stage that people cannot do because they would get arrested. The puppets can't be arrested because they're puppets. They can do anything.
Right.
And they do. So the story is actually based on the intertwining of these people that all live on the same block. And they're single, and some are getting married, and some are dating, and some are gay, and some are straight. It's just like regular world today, except they're, instead of black and white or whatever nationality they are, they happen to be monster and human. Same thing as everyday life. So it's a lot of fun. It's a great show. It's a marvelous comedy. It's heartwarming. It's funny. It's everything all rolled into one. It's one of the best shows I've ever seen, and that's why I wanted to do it, because it's just a riot. And one of my favorite characters, just for the heck of it, is named Lucy the Slut. And in joking around, I said, that's my alter ego. I've always been Marcie the Prude. So Lucy the Slut is absolutely my alter ego. And she's got long blonde hair, curly long blonde hair. And what makes Lucy different is that Lucy has boobs. So
Now we have Gary Polks watching and Mark Foley.
Hey, I love it. Especially hi, Mark. Okay. Anyway, so Lucy the Slut actually is a puppet with boobs. And when I went to see Avenue Q, we don't sell T-shirts, but the regular show did. And there was a T-shirt that said, "Yeah, they're real," which is something that Lucy the Slut says.
Right.
So, of course, I'm blessed in that department, and I decided that I loved that T-shirt. I bought it. I could never put it on.
Hi, back, my dear friend of 40 years, Mark
That's
just
true.
said.
That's
Okay,
exactly
okay.
right. Mark and I go way back also. Good friends. Always good friends. And his sister, too. Tell Donna I said hi. It's old family, right? It's all of us who have been here forever, just forever.
So Gary Polk
Small
says,
group.
great topic. He's another
Yes.
person.
So, well, welcome. Glad to have you along. So, Avenue Q is absolutely a riot. And we are going to be taking it to the Rinker Playhouse, which is actually in the Kravis Center. Now, the Kravis Center is a big, giant area. And they've got Dreyfus Hall, which holds about, 3,000 people. So you only do a one-night stand there. So we're not going to do that. We're going into Rinker Playhouse, which holds 300 people. And we will be showing starting May 25th on Thursday, Friday nights, Saturday night, and that will be at 7:30. And we will also be showing Saturday afternoon and Sunday afternoon at 1:30 from May 25th to June 10th. So we've got 15 performances you've just got to come out and see. And what you do is you park in the parking lot, and as you come out of the parking lot, you go to the third floor to walk across, and as you come out of the garage, it's the first opening on your left, and that is Rinker Playhouse. So it's the smaller playhouse. And smaller meaning it's still 300, and it's a black box. So for those of you artistic beings, a black box just means that it's a big empty room. There's no curtains, there's no wings on the side. For those of you that know about plays, normally there's a stage and there's places to hide stuff on the sides and behind it. In a black box, there's none of that. So we've gotten really creative because we're in the black box. And actually, we're headed there Thursday. We're bringing our stuff from actually down here in Boca up to Kravis Center and getting set up. We're going into it's called Tech Week. That's when we add the lights and the sound and everything all together and try to make it into a show. I've heard it. I down here every day and I'm watching it, and it's amazing that it came together. It's just amazing.
Okay, so we're looking at that. Now let's just move on to a couple of the others. And I just have to say to everybody that Marcie really loves what she's doing. She's very passionate about this, and let's try to help her. That's the whole point that I asked her to come on our show, because we haven't really heard much about what she's doing, and I would like to be one of her, I don't call it an artery. I am going to try to help you to get people to know it and to come and see what you're doing, because I know everything you do will be quality, and you've helped people, so many people in your life. So let's see what we can do to help you.
Well, I appreciate that. We've actually become a 501c3, which is a not-for-profit charity, because we've definitely been not-for-profit. There's no doubt about it. And the theater business...
Well, most theaters are.
Yeah. The theater business is a hard business because you're trying to rely on ticket sales to cover everything that goes on, and it really doesn't. So support your local theater, the live people. We need the help.
So we need some big sponsors. That's really what you're looking for.
I
big,
need
small,
sponsors.
whatever.
I'll even take little sponsors.
Yes.
We have advertising kits. We have just donations. Just donate. And we would love that. So that's kind of the direction that we're going, trying to help me, because right now I am the donor. So I'm kind of trying to get out of that only me situation, because that's really tough. So,
well, I'm going to ask you a very strong question. Why do you think we need another theater?
Oh, we always need theater.
I'm sure you've had that question asked.
Absolutely. You can't get enough culture of the arts. You really, really can't, because life is pretty much black and white, and theater is gray. It's shades of gray. You walk into a theater, you don't know what to expect, and you're actually walking into something that is going to make you feel a certain way. It's going to expand your horizons. It's going to teach you something. Even if it's just had a laugh or cry, it's going to teach you something. There's always a message in the theater. There's always something that you can take away from that. And if you are going into theater at all, or if you're in high school, and everybody listen, if you're in school, you have got to take acting courses, acting classes. Why? Because that's where you learn how to public speak and how to think on your feet. And if you think you're never going to audition, think again. Every job you get in your entire life, there's an audition. You go in there, you've got to just about tap dance for whoever it is that you're seeing because you want to be hired. Well, that's what theater teaches actors to do. Only we come out and we do it to amuse you or to make you cry or to make you laugh, just to bring out different emotions. So don't skip that public speaking stuff because you never know. It's going to come in handy. Ask Mark Foley. He knows.
Okay, so what we want to do, though, is let's talk about some of the other. Well, let's talk about how people can buy tickets, first of all. For that's the most important thing of Avenue Q coming up.
We have an MNM, like in Marcie, Nancy, Marcie, webpage on Facebook, and it's mnmtheater.org. There's a Kravis click button right there. You can go right in there, click the button. You can buy tickets that way. Or you can go to the Kravis website directly, click the button, and go in there and buy tickets. Or you can actually call Kravis. They're selling all of our tickets. Tickets are $55. And we do have a student rush for any kids that are listening. And there are some available on Gold Star. Not a lot. But
I don't know what Gold Star is.
Gold Star is like Groupon. It's one of those discount type of things. We have a few out there. Not a lot because I really believe we've got a quality product and we want you to see it. So, and we want this to go on. I don't want this to be a one thing. I'm doing this 4 years. This is my first year all by myself. So this is the year we find out if I can do it by myself or not. And I've gotten to the point in my life where I love what I'm doing and I don't want to give it up. But by the same token, I don't want to live under a bridge because who would do my hair and nails? They're just delivery dudes are just not coming out to do my nails. It's just the way it is. And I have to have air conditioning. I don't like to sweat. So right off the bat, I have some real problems with living under a bridge. It's just not a good thing. And so I'm trying to do this all on my retirement and still survive. So I'd love some help. Plus, I think I've got something to offer back. I've got an evening of fun. I've got an evening of laughs. I've got an evening of the unexpected. And I think it's worth a little bit of money to come on in.
So I was curious because we'll go over some of your other shows coming up. But is it difficult to choose the show you want to have since you're limited? You're only going to have 4 here.
Right.
That must be a trick.
It is. What I like to do is sit down with my directors, and I have 2 different directors this time, and 2 different music directors, and 2 different stage managers. So that'll be interesting. But I usually get together with my musical director and my director, who I've usually chosen ahead of time, and we sit down and start talking about what do we want to do. It's all within the framework, though. I'm a musical comedy queen. So it's going to be a musical comedy. We've got that much. It absolutely is. So the nature of the beast is my director usually comes in with a sheet of musical comedies, the number of people in them, the story, if I don't know it. Most of them I know. And then we start talking about what would we like to do within the realm of musical comedy. If I ever got away from musical, it would still be comedy. I'm a comedy queen. If I want to get serious, I can read the newspaper. That is serious.
Kimberly Mitchell is on.
Hey, Kim.
Love it in you.
Yes, hey, Kim. You're finding old friends. I love it. So
comedy.
Yes, comedy is my passion. There's so much tragedy in the world. There's so many sad things going on that even for me, I need the break. If I want to get serious, as I said, the newspaper is right there. If you want to really be depressed, watch the news. So I've got something else to offer. Come in and see Avenue Q, and I promise you, you won't think about the news. Not until you get back out on the street, at least. And after Avenue Q, we actually have a 4-season shows, or 4-show season. Yeah. I Love You, You're Perfect, Now Change is going to be our 2nd show. And after that show, we're going to be doing My Way, which is obviously about Frank Sinatra, but there is no one that is Frank Sinatra. So don't come in thinking you're going to see old Blue Eyes. He's not there. So we will have a whole bunch of his songs, though, and pay tribute to that absolutely fantastic man who is a generation ahead of me. But I remember my mother saying how they swooned over Frank Sinatra. So come back and swoon along with us. And the last show is one of my all-time favorite shows. And I absolutely adore it, and it is Grease. And since the first time I love the movie. The stage play is great, and what I've done is a hybrid because I got the show, and I really like the movie a little bit better than the show. And what I found out is that if I manipulated things correctly and sent a little money in different directions, I could actually buy the movie music and add it into the show. So what you're going to see when you come to see Grease, you're going to walk in and you're going to hear the Grease song because normally you wouldn't. The Grease song belongs to the movie. It does not belong to the play. So I got to hear the Grease music. It's not Grease without the opening number.
But they have the thing is you have to also look at your budget for the dancers. And
absolutely.
That's the big problem, isn't it?
There's dancers. There's
costumes.
There's singers. Oh my God, the set. That's why it's one big show at the end. And we're actually trying to co-produce this with the Kravis Center. They've been very supportive, and they actually want to co-pro with us. So that is our co-production for this year with them. And they're delighted. We're delighted. It's great fun. It's wonderful to put us together because here we are, this much smaller group. And then there's the Kravis Center, and it's wonderful to have them in with us and supporting us and actually joining us in producing a show.
Okay, so now let's kind of back up. Let me tell everybody who doesn't know Marcie Gorman that she was really the person who was the president of Weight Watchers here in South Florida for a long time, and that she has a wonderful family, but that she's always had this secret desire to, of course, be in theater, run theater, do something, and here she is. So let's go and go behind the scenes. Are you working with local actors as much as you can?
Actually, that's part of our 501c3 bylaws. And aside from bringing excellent cultural events to the area, of course, what we want to do is hire, if not 100%, as close to 100% actors and actresses and singers and everything from this area. So that's actually in our bylaws. And the reason is because most people, when you say you're doing theater, they think New York. They think L.A. There's only actors in New York and L.A. That's just not true. We have got some phenomenal people down here that are they're excellent, and nobody's looking for them. I'm looking for them. So I really don't look in New York. My auditions are held down here. I'm hiring Floridians, my orchestras, and there are orchestras. This is live music, by the way, gang. So those theaters that don't use live music, I'm not one of them. Live music and a whole orchestra. So all of that, there are all those individuals that are involved, and it's very exciting. And all of our crew and the people building, everybody is from Florida. I'm not importing anybody. These are the people who live here, and it's a goal to support the people who live here, or else they're going to go to another state.
And are you learning a lot?
I am. And it also takes me back. In high school, I was an actress and I was a singer, and in those days, that was not part of the curriculum. You got to do that after school. That was not part of anything. And today they actually have theater degrees. I've got my Bachelor of Science in Education, and I love teaching. I absolutely love teaching. But even when I taught, I always had a measure of theater. And even with Weight Watchers, which was Boca to Titusville, the Panhandle of Florida, and half the state of Alabama, I did my own seminars. I did my own TV commercials. I did my own radio spots. That was my step into keeping that little bit of theater that's in my blood there. And I think I've hit the point in my life where it's really okay if I'm not in the spotlight anymore. I'm really okay letting other people do it. And I've gotten to the point, and if you see any of my actors, they'll tell you, I sit in the very front row, way over on the side, and most of them actually like it. I've had every now and then, not an actor, but someone say, well, you're right in their face. Aren't they nervous? And actually, I've been told it's very reassuring to them to see me there. And the reason I'm there is because I can pretend that this whole show is for me. There is no audience. It's me. They are doing the show just for me. And I love that. And I've seen it so many times that by the time we get into the theater, I know everybody's lines. I know every place they're moving to. I know everything they're doing. And I absolutely love to watch their faces. I love to watch what happens if somebody makes a mistake. How do they fix it so the audience never knows? I know, they know, but the audience never knows, not if they're doing a good job. So I love that. That's such a thrill for me. And I feel like these are all my children. When we're doing a show, I feel like they're all mine. And I'm so proud of them. And I'm so delighted to see them do a good job. It's like I own them. They're my babies. And I just feel like it's so wonderful to watch them do what they love in front of me. And I love that.
So now I have the question that when you get the actors and they don't, of course, they have to, they're 7 days, they have to live, eat. Is that part of what you have to pay for?
Yes. Basically, they get a salary, but they work 6 days a week. They are only off on Monday. That's it.
So how do you support their housing and their food? How do you do that?
Because they're here. They live here. So that's another reason we don't do out-of-town people. The people here live here. They're trying to make enough money to pay their rent, to pay their car. So that's what I'm trying to support. It's the people who actually live here. So the money that they make, and we do pay them. This is a professional theater. This is not a little local theater downtown. This is a regional professional theater. So they are paid. The crew is paid. Everybody is paid. There is no volunteers in this job. Everybody gets paid except maybe not me. But hey, this is fun.
So how about set design?
I have got a wonderful production manager this year who is in charge of all of that. We have a technical designer underneath him. We have people who have drawn the set. It's marvelous to look at. They're great big blueprints, and luckily I do know how to read blueprints. So I have an idea of what's going on, and all of that's from Weight Watchers stuff. You know, the jobs that you have along the way, why would I ever, what does Weight Watchers have to do with blueprints? And the answer is I opened up stores. In order to open up a storefront, I needed to know what the blueprint looked like when they were building it and where I wanted the chairs and where I wanted the bathroom and where I wanted everything to be. So, yeah, I learned how to read a blueprint. Now I'm looking at blueprints of a stage. And the stage is not a stage. It's a big empty hole until we put a beautiful set on it that's going to make you feel like you are there. Otherwise, what's a stage? It's just there's a stage and there's nothing. We bring it all to life, and that's so much fun. And our crew, everybody gets along beautifully. I was listening to them the other night. They're working so hard, especially since we're opening in, a little over a week. They're like quiet as mice. They're all concentrating on what they're doing. The only noise you hear is the buzz saw. We have a buzz saw. I'm not allowed near it. I'm not even allowed in the room with the buzz saw. And there's a good reason for that because I'm sometimes, we won't say really clumsy. Let's just say I'm not always as agile as some other people. So there's a big Marcie may not come in this area sign that keeps me away from the buzz saw. So it's a lot of fun. I go in there each day and they're rehearsing in one part and they're actually building the set in the other part. And this is the way I wanted it to be. I wanted to put it together so that when pieces of the set are done, they can be put on the set, literally on the set that the actors are working on. So rather than having the actors walk in for Tech Week, having never seen the set and learning to come in and out of the set, our set is built and put right there. We have a stage, a mock stage, right in the other half of this building. And they are rehearsing on the stage, and as the set pieces come, they're put in their places so that they already know where the doorway is. They already know where everything is before they get to Kravis and to Rinker. They're all set with that. They know where everything is, where the props are going to be hung. Everything is put there before we get into Kravis.
Okay, and how about costumes?
We're doing costumes.
Do you make them all, or do you get them from the Wick costume people?
We have occasionally borrowed some things, rented some things from Marilyn Wick. Marilyn Wick and I are friends with each other, but we all kind of share the same people. So the costume people that Marilyn uses, although she's got costumes from all over the world, she's got an incredible collection. But that aside, we use some of the same costume people. So I've been using the same group for all 4 years that I've been doing this, and they're wonderful. And we just tell them, they read the script, and they start making suggestions on what they think the people should be wearing. And they go directly to the director and the stage manager and start proposing, I think this person should be in this. I just saw a post last night where they had put out a bunch of different colors of fabrics for the windows because one of them should be in stripes, multicolored rainbow stripes, and another one should be lacy because we have a very awesome little old lady, and she's got lace window shades. And then, of course, we have Trekkie Monster, and his shades are going to be different than anybody else's shades. And so there's just so much going on. So even there's that, and there's the beds when you see in. There has to be dressing on everything. And, of course, dressing on the people. What's most interesting about that is the puppets, because the puppets are not naked. The puppets are dressed just like they have to be. And I have rented these puppets for a fair amount because these are Broadway puppets. I actually went and I got some of the puppets that are on Broadway. And the practice puppets came in a big, long box that looked like a big black coffin. And you open up because it came to my house, open up the big black coffin, and inside were all the puppets. And the puppets are not like marionette on strings. There's a big head. There's just a big head, and they're about to here. So you've got arms of the puppet and the upper chest of the puppet, and mostly not too much else underneath there, but you know what's underneath there. Just remember that. So there's practice puppets, and they learn with the practice puppets. When they're now getting into the real performing puppets, and they showed up in 2 big, long coffin buckets, just amazing. And when you open them up, because you can't change the puppet's clothes. It's hard enough to change our own clothes, let alone trying to do a puppet whose arms are kind of like hanging there.
And
like
you know
that.
what, Marcie? We can't change the time, and we've just run out of time. But, you know, we are going to work with you as much as we can to help you and be a part of what you're doing. So I know we'll have you back at another point.
I'll be back.
Thank
Come on
you.
out and see Avenue Q.
Thank you, Marcie. Bye.
Bye.